my name is Lupe and we're here at Forever Crochet, and today we're going to be making this V-neck wrap sweater. The yarn that we'll be using is going to be this Yarntopia Yarn Bee in the color Ocean. It is a 2-weight acrylic yarn, and the hook size that I will be using today is a 3.5mm hook. And I do have 3 skeins of this yarn just to make sure I have enough. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna need to do is measure either our back side or our bust. So depending on how you like to measure. And so I measured the back, and this is gonna be for a size small, medium. And so what I have here is I went ahead and just chained up 16 inches. And it came up to be about 60 chains. So I have my 60 chains. So after you get the size that you need in chains, then you're just going to go ahead and chain that amount up. So if you need to do 18, you'll have more than, most likely have more than 60, but I'm going to use 60 for the sake of this video. Okay, so after you have your main chains, you're going to just chain 1. And we're working on the back panel right now. And so we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to skip 1 and then go to the second from the hook, and we're just going to double crochet all the way down. Okay. And so this part here is going to be very simple. It's just going to be a double crochet all the way down. And then we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and then continue on doing double crochets all the way till we get to the size that we need for the back side. All right, so let's go ahead and continue working on our double crochets. When I get to the end, I will show you how I do my last chain and then turn my work. All right, so give me 1 second here while we continue working. All right, so I'm approaching the last stitch here on the first row. I'm gonna go ahead and do my last double crochet here. And then now all I'm going to do is chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and just turn my work. All right. And I'm not going to go right back into this first chain where we did the chain 3. I'm going to go into the second stitch and just continue my work from there. And that's how I'm going to begin every row. So now I'm just going to go ahead and continue on with my double crochets all the way down. And then I'm going to just continue going as many rows as I need to do the back part. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working. And it may be about maybe 30 rows. I'll keep going. And then when I have enough rows to where I think I have enough for my back side, I will come back on and then show you how I start doing the fronts part. So we're just going to continue doing as many rows of double crochets to do your back side. All right, so we'll meet up here as soon as we are done doing our double crochets. All right, so I went ahead and did 40 rows all the way up. Okay, so I will show you, and I did also 1 panel so I could kind of give you an idea of what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do here for the next step is we're going to make this panel. All right, and so in making this panel, I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. You can see is we're going to go ahead and do 5 rows, and right here I did 18. So this is where I decided this is how much of the V that I wanted to have. If you want less of a V, you would put more. So I have 18, so you would do 20, 22. But if you want to have a bigger size V-neck, then you would have less. But I chose 18, and so then you do 5 rows of 18, and then we're going to increase only on one side all the way down till we do 40 rows. So we start with the chain that double crochets that you chose. So I chose 18, so I have 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to start our increases on the 6th row and just slowly increasing just at the end of each end of this row, and always starting the same way on this side so we have that straight edge. Okay, So let's go ahead and get started on doing the panels. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start from the inside. We're going to do 18. Well, I'm going to do 18, but if you, like I said before, if you wanted to have less coverage in the V, you would have less, and if you wanted more coverage, you would just increase your double crochets the same amount on each side. And so go ahead and insert your hook. All right, and now we're going to just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to double crochet all the way down. Okay, and we're going to do 5 rows of these. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and continue doing that. And then I will show you how we increase, and then we'll continue on. So let's do 5 rows of 5 more rows of double crochets. All right, and now, and we will go ahead and do each round the same as we have done before for these first 5. Okay, so I am at the end of the 6th row, and this is where we're going to do the increase. So let's go ahead and do our last couple of double crochets here. So in the last stitch, we're going to go ahead and do the increase. So we're going to do 2 double crochets here. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 3 to start row 7. So we have the increase here, and then we're going to chain 3, turn our work, and then we're going to go right back into the same stitch as the chain 3 and do a double crochet there. So we're going to also increase there, and now we're just going to go ahead and do a single crochet all the way down, and then we're just going to chain up 3 and continue back to the center of the sweater and continue growing our V-neck. So we only increase in the inside, but the side of the sweater is just always going to be straight. So you don't want to increase on both sides, just that one side. Okay, so that's basically all we're going to do for the panels, is just increase in the center, and it will keep increasing slowly, as you can see here, all the way down. So you want to make sure you have in the same amount of rows as you do on the back side, so that when you cross it, it'll show. So let's see if I can get this so you can see. So this is where we began, and now you can see how it's going to start increasing here. So it'll cross right about here. All right, so let's continue working on just increasing in the inside only, and then straight edge on the side here. Continue with the straight edge here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and then after we're done doing all our increased rows, we're going to go ahead and sew up the sides, and then we'll put the strings on the end of it so that we can hold it together, and then we'll work on our sleeves as well. And then we may put a design here to see how it comes out. All right, so let's go ahead and continue working on our panels, front panels. Now that I have finished my 40 rounds, and now I have my whole front panels finished. So here's one and here's the other one. We're going to go ahead and do a border around the whole top part. So from here all the way here to here to here, and all the way down, we're going to do a border. It's a simple one, just to give it a little bit of texture around the V-neck. Give it a little soft touch, and it'll close it up as well a little bit more. But if you don't want to do the border, that's fine. You could just do a single crochet all the way around, just to clean it up a little bit. But if you like to do a border like mine, I'm going to go ahead. I haven't fastened off, so I went ahead and did my last double crochet. So now I'm just going to go ahead and chain 1. Now I'm going to start on the corner on the right side up, and I'm going to go ahead and single crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and that to make a little corner here. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and do a double crochet 7 times in this open space here. So let's just do 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now I'm just going to do a single crochet in the next little open spot there, and it'll be like a little shell. Okay, and then now in the next open space I'm going to do 7 double crochets again. Okay. We'll do this all the way around. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. And then just single crochet. Okay, and there's really not a wrong way or a right way to do it. Just go ahead and continue on just in the next open space. Do 7, then single crochet, 7, all the way around till we get to the other corner. And then when we get to the other corner, we'll go ahead and do our tie strings. And then we'll go ahead and then move over to doing the sides. Either we can add long sleeves or add short sleeves, so we'll go ahead and do that as well. So for now, let's work on the inside border of the V-neck. Now that I'm approaching the end of doing my edging for the inside of the V-neck, I'm going to go ahead and attach here the single crochet. All right, so now we have our inside edging, so you can see. All right, and now what we're going to do is put the strings on each of the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fasten off here at all yet. I'm going to go ahead and then chain 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back in here just to make sure that it stays in there correctly. Single crochet. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and chain. I think I'm going to do about a chain of 100. As long as you need it to go, so that you can tie it in the back, or however long string you need to tie it on the back, or to bring it to the part that you want to have it tied. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 100. So I'm just going to go ahead and chain 100. All right, so I have my 100 stitches, and so now all I'm going to do is a single crochet all the way down, starting with the second hoop from the second chain from the hook. So I'm just going to go ahead and go there, and then now just do single crochets all the way down. And again, it just depends on your preference of how long you want to tie your string. And so yeah, just go ahead and single crochet all the way down, and then we will fasten this one off, and then we'll do a string on the other side of the panel. Okay, so this is how it looks now, and we'll continue working until we get back to the beginning chain. Now that I'm approaching the end of the single crochets on my chain, I'm just going to go ahead and do my last single crochet here. Then I'm just going to slip stitch anywhere in here just to attach it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just fasten off here, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so there we have that one attached. We'll just put those ends away later. All right, and then same thing here. We're just going to go ahead and just go into the corner, pull our yarn through. Okay, and now we're just going to do again the same amount that we did on the other side. We're going to go ahead and do on this side. So we're going to do 100 all the way down, then single crochet all the way back. And then once we're done with this, we will go ahead and do the sleeves. Okay, so I now have both of my strings completely finished, and I have tied off on both ends here. And now next what we're going to do is the sleeves. Now for the sake of the video, I went ahead and sewed up on the side of this, on one side, just to give you an idea of what you can do. You could sew it from here down whenever you decide how big you want your arm opening to be, and just sew it in with a needle. Or depending, if you just want to make your sleeve, if you feel more comfortable making your sleeve off of here, then you could go ahead and start making your sleeve here. So I just, as an example, I just showed you here. And then I left this one open on this side because I didn't, at the time of sewing this side, I didn't know if I was going to make it a long sleeve or a short sleeve, but I think I'm going to go for a long sleeve. So I didn't want to close it, so that way I can make another panel and then attach it this way and then attach everything all at once. So since I decided to make a long sleeve, what I am going to do is I'm going to measure out and make a chain of about 20 inches. So I'm just going to make a chain. Then I'm just going to do the same thing that we did for the back panel of double crochets all the way up. And I think I'm going to do, so I have about a 6-inch opening here, so about 12 inches of rows. And then I will go ahead and attach it to here. So if you would like to do that, that's the measurements that I'm going to use. So you could just measure your arm, how long you want your arm to be, do your chain, do your double crochets for that amount, and then we'll come back on so I can show you how I attach and how we can sew everything on. And then if we want to put a border on the bottom of our shirt, we also can do that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started doing our sleeves. Now that we have our 2 panels done, we're going to go ahead and attach our sleeves. So here's one that I haven't attached yet, and then I'll show you one that has been attached. This is the one that's not attached, and here's a sleeve that is attached. So I went ahead and attached it, and I also put a little bit of edging around the sleeve here to match the neckline. All right, and so if you wanted to just leave it as a short sleeve, you could go ahead and attach it, and then go ahead and just go around and make a nice little sleeve, a little ruffle, the same shelling that we did around here. All right, so let's go ahead and attach the sleeve. So we're gonna go working with the wrong side. So open it up in the inside. You're gonna center your work here. So you're gonna find where the middle of the 2-5, so where we have the 5 strands here, you're going to go ahead and find the middle, and you're just going to line it up. Okay, so I believe it's going to be right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach it so that I can see where it goes, making sure that we have the same amount on both sides. So I believe this is the middle. I'm just going to line it up so they could match. And then we'll count down to make sure that we have the same amount of rows on each side, because you don't want your sleeve to be off. All right, keep everything in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and count here. So this will be the center, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so it looks like it might be off just a little bit here. Okay, so now that we have it all set together, we're going to go ahead and sew here. And then we're going to close it. We will close it. This will be all attached, and then we're going to go ahead and sew all the way from here and all the way down the sleeve, okay? So go ahead and make sure everything is lined up. First, I would recommend doing the top part of the sleeve, and then start from here all the way down to the sleeve till you have it all closed off, okay? And I just simply, when I am stitching, I just go ahead, I believe it's called a mattress stitch, and I just insert my hook, where I want it to go. Okay. This way just seems easier for me, and I like the way it looks when you open it up, and I just go all the way down doing the same thing all the way down, and it gives it a very beautiful clean look. I'll show you on this side on the inside stitch here, and then when you do it this way, you can see the seam, it doesn't have any bulkiness on the outside. So that's all I do, is I just keep going through the stitches like that, just picking up a stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect, it'll all mysteriously just line up for you. And that's basically all I do all the way down. So when I'm done doing this, I will fasten off here, and then I will go ahead and then start from the corner all the way down the sleeve. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue working on attaching our sleeves. And then when we're done attaching, I will show you how I did the edging on the end of the sleeve to give it a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of texture. All right, so let's go ahead and continue working. Okay, so I have my sleeve attached here, and now we're going to go ahead and, still working with the wrong side, we're going to go ahead and fold it so that we can continue sewing from the inside. We don't want to have any seams showing on the outside, on the right side. So just fold your work. Okay, and you could do it either way. If you want to start with the sleeve and sew all the way down, and then fix your work, and then you just, and when you're done sewing it together, you can just go ahead and, when you're done sewing up your work, you go ahead and turn it inside out, and then we'll go ahead and do the edging on the sleeves. And I like to use these, again, use these little clips so I could tie, so I can line everything up correctly, so they don't have any kind of loops or anything, humps. Okay, depending on where you want to work. Okay, start right here. All right. Okay, just line everything up, and then go ahead and start sewing this way or sew this way up. Okay, and then when we're done, we will go ahead and do the edging on the sleeve here, okay? Now that we have our panels all attached and all sewn together, we go ahead now and just do the edging on the sleeves. So if you wanted to keep yours straight like this would be fine too. Or if you wanted to add like a little shell stitching on the end, just to give it a little bit more texture and just to match the neckline, it'd be also really nice. So the way that I did that is I just go ahead and start where I began sewing together, or at the end stitch here. So you have these strings here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and grab them. I'm trying to conceal them at the same time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull my yarn through, chain one, Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 more. So it should be a total of 3. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the shell like we did earlier before on the neckline. And it's just basically 6 more double crochets. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 more. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and insert a single crochet not too far and not too close, just so that it gives the shell shape. And then go ahead in the next opening, just go ahead and do 7. So the first one we did a chain 3 and 6 shells, and this now throughout we're just going to do the 7 double crochets and then a single crochet all the way around until we get to the beginning of the first chain. And we want to just end with a single crochet somewhere around here, and then we'll attach it, so it'll give that shell here as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and meet up when we're done doing our shell edging around the ending of the sleeve, and after that we should be done, and we'll put it on the mannequin and see how it looks. Okay, I'm approaching the end of my shell stitching here, and then we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at it. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to insert the last single crochet. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet on the top of the chain 3 space from the first stitch. They don't have to be perfect, they just want to have a little design there. Okay, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fasten off. And we are done with our project here. All right, and now, so this is what we have. And then the sleeve that we just finished. So the only thing we have left to do is hide all our loose ends. And then we're going to put on the mannequin. And I want to take the time out to say thank you for joining me and watching this video. Like and subscribe so that you'll be notified when I have a new context. And thank you for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and put on the mannequin and we'll take a quick little look.